Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to a bit of a partnership deal here. Nameless Esports will be running production for ZAVE Esports here today. And here today, I'm your caster, Shadow Dweller. Joined alongside me is Kenzo. Kenzo, welcome in. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling very good. I will say that. This is pretty much exciting. Seeing ZAVE Sports in RLCS, we know the fact that they've also competed in our nameless tourneys. Every week.
Yeah, and shout out to those weekly tournaments that Nameless Esports runs. Keep in mind, everyone is able to sign up, and we've seen them take one of the weeklies. Now, that was a different roster and compared to the one here today. Kenzo, why don't you bring us into that roster here today?
Yeah, taking a look at their roster, True, Lakes, and Dimes. First time we're gonna see them. Normally we see a different roster, but this time they're rocking a different set of players this time. True, Lakes, and Dimes. Kind of excited to see what these players are going to bring to the table for ZAVE Esports. And ZAVE Esports coming into their bracket right now, they have a bye, so they will take on the winner of UC Bearcats Black and the High Council, as Bearcats Black has a 1-0 game advantage over the High Council so far. So we'll see we'll see how that game turns out, and we'll see how uh, ZAVE plays.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see now. A bit of notes for some of these players. A few of these faces may be a bit familiar to people. True has had a top 12 result, but as a sub for Feastabonium, excuse me. And Lakes is a big YouTube content creator, and Dime's kind of unknown, so definitely especially someone that has something to prove. But all of these players had something to prove, and especially for True, I feel like he'd want to prove, hey, I don't need to be a sub in order to put up results. But who are you keeping your eye on this roster, Kenzo?
Well, like you said, I'm keeping an eye on True because I think that with the experience that they have, or sorry, the experience that this player has, I think they can propel their team into possibly getting into higher seeds and higher win totals. But another player that I think a lot of people should be looking out for is Dimes. This is the first time that we are seeing them in this tournament, so a lot of things can happen, and a lot of unpredictability to say the least. And that's the question for a lot of these other teams is, how are we going to handle this type of play style? Because a lot of times they do like to, sometimes esports likes to play a bit of aggressiveness, and sometimes they like to play a bit of reserves. And the question is going to remain is, what will ZAVE Esports bring to the table? But like I said, I'm very interested in both True and Dimes.
Yeah, I gotta be interested in them too. Now, in Open 2, Dimes did have the best result out of these three, getting 105th place. So, going to be interesting to see if maybe these three can push each other past their limits. And especially Lakes, too. Obviously, YouTube content creator. Gonna be interesting to see. Obviously, we can probably expect some of his fans to be behind him and seeing if he can push to that next level. But speaking of the next level, we have plenty of faces that Nameless is familiar with and looking to hit the next level here in Open 3. Kenzo, who are some of the players that we've seen before here at Nameless that'll be playing today?
So we've seen a couple big players. We've seen Natra before, Reeker, Velocity. Natya has solely become, I guess, like the sole favorite in our nameless tournaments. The amount of times, the amount of plays that we have seen from this guy is absolutely crazy. Also, Luca is a big player that we've also seen a lot of the times. So both these players that we have seen just in the past alone have basically just kind of made them standalone names in our nameless tournaments.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see, but these players we haven't seen in the Nameless tournaments. And So definitely, obviously, some new faces for us, but also maybe some new faces for other people that they aren't so familiar with. We're still waiting on that result of the University of Cincinnati versus the High Council, and obviously this is how the quals go. You just gotta wait around a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I got it. You're absolutely right. You got to wait around just for, just for the little bit. As like I said, UC Bearcats they won game one, so it's a 1-0 game so far for the first round. So it's going to be a bit of a while before we can absolutely get a chance to see that. Um, like I said, we seen a lot of these players come in, but I think ZAVE Esports um, do have a bit more of the advantage coming into this tournament.
Yeah, and just a reminder, we are waiting on that round one matchup, so it should take another 5-10 minutes, kind of waiting how that game two goes. Unfortunately, this is the nature of the qualifiers. I've casted RLCS quals before, and sometimes, I mean, I I had one a I had one where teams waited to check in, uh, but there were some teams we didn't touch on that have played before already. We named some of them, and then also Team Silence too is actually in the bracket, and name and Zave will face if they keep going through the bracket is definitely an interesting one, but also some familiar ones like Soulless Path. Translucent Esports, Played Up. There's some names that we recognize, especially from the last Nameless weekly Rocket Rush. Banag was another big one. They're high in points in the Rocket Rush series. And so, definitely going to see if teams like those can make more of a statement, and maybe participating in the weekly Rocket Rushes has paid off and helped them learn some things.
So yeah, and you are absolutely right. We've seen a lot of these teams, Passion, Team Silence, Translution, Coco, Defense Force played up. Again, all these teams that we have seen before, we've seen in our Rocket Rush tournaments, and a lot of times they would have come back, especially after last week when we saw just a great game between most of these teams. A lot of this time, like you said, if Team Silence and Xavier Force does meet up, that's going to be an interesting matchup to kind of see what's going on here. Meanwhile, just a bit of an update. UC Bearcats Black got a 2-0 victory over the High Council. So now we're gonna see ZAVE Esports versus UC Bearcats Black. So if there's any ZAVE Esports fans in the chat right now, make sure to get hype. We're about to see what this roster is going to bring up. And speaking of rosters, taking a look at the Bearcats Black roster: Austin, Nitro, Erickson, Playbo, Platbo. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. David MB and Emma Nye. So this Cincinnati Bearcats team is looking a bit stacked right now.
Yeah, and they've had some results in CRL. Definitely not a kind of staple name you'd think of, but I know they've made some runs in some smaller tournaments in the local Ohio area, and so definitely not a team to scoff at. But we but we will go to a quick break as we wait for the teams to check in. So we'll see you all in a few minutes.
it's time to launch an all-new season of Rocket Rush.
Played as well over the defense and
Will it be a goal? Oh, it's gonna help the court.
Consistent Rocket League competition with no long-term commitment.
Rocket Rush weekly, a second week.
To the third iteration.
Week 4, 5, 6.
The 7th
Week number 8, 9.
Rocket Rush 10. Each season will consist of 10 weeks. Don't worry, the $100 prize pool will not be going anywhere. During those 10 weeks, the top 16 teams,
Valley Esports Red,
Tokyo United,
Banana Lovers,
it's Calgary,
ZAVE Esports,
Team Silence,
ZAVE Academy,
Banag,
Portuguese Bim Bim.
get points based on their performance. The later we are in the season, the more points you will get per placement. The top 6 teams by the end will get a free invite to the final event of the season. May 2nd, an open double elimination tournament to determine 2 wildcards that will be joining the 6 already invited teams. And then on May 3rd, a single elimination best of 7 tournament where the winner will claim the $500 prize pool and their name engraved in Rocket Rush history. Do you have what it takes to be a champion? Why don't we find out?
I'm expecting a lot, and I repeat, a lot of high-powered offense. These are 2 teams who are probably looking to be grand champs, SSL. So this is going to be a high-stakes, high-powered offense. We know we've seen ZAVE Esports in the past go all the way to being champs of our Rocket Rush tournament, but this is going to be the first time that we see UC Bearcats Black. So this is going to be a matchup between who's going to get that first edge, who's going to take off to get that advantage. Like I said, we saw the roster for UC Bearcats Black. This team might be no joke. So ZAVE Esports literally cannot take this game lightly. You are playing for a chance to win some money on the line.
We will get into this one. Sorry, I was muted. You gotta keep in mind, this is a best of 3. this is not a best of 5. So you got to have your foot on the gas the entire time. And now as we get into this, Lake's going to look to take to the sky, trying to buy some time and get around Cairo, but it's not going to come to fruition as Platbo just going to throw this away off the back wall.
Yeah, out the back wall, but you could just see UC Bearcats has now started to take a bit of possession. Nitro just kind of playing keep away at the moment, kind of trying to set his team up. There is Truly over to Dimes with a great dribble, tries to go off the wall, tries to do the double tap, but can't find anybody, and it's now, oh no, ZAVE Esports with possession, just playing so far, like I said, to keep away over to Cairo. Cairo sends it down towards midfield, but that gets caught off by ZAVE Esports as Lakes rides the wall into the corner, looks for his teammate, but Truly is gonna get there. The 9 will not be allowed. ZAVE Esports with a 1-0 lead.
A nice 1-0 lead, and that's how you want to start. You want to start off strong. You can see the nice pass, and Platbo just caught with his back facing the wrong way. And Truly just recognizing that you need to dunk the backside, not the front side. And that is how you want to start it if you are ZAVE. And now Nitro gonna lose it to Lakes, but Platbo gonna be there for the follow-up as Dimes will take over through the skies. Has a reset, has a double, teammate bumping, and he didn't actually get the second reset. And that could have been a beauty early on, but not gonna go their way for now.
Yeah, that was just a great technicianal play from ZAVE Esports, but they could not finish the job, but they might have a second opportunity. Dimes just pops it in the air, but a great play by UC Bearcats, like just able to knock it off his trajectory. The fast break going in ZAVE Esports' favor, up in the air, just a bit too high. Here's Lakes. Lakes looks for the flip reset, but he can't find it, and now it's in Bearcats' possession. Into the corner we go. Here comes a ZAVE player looking to make a play, try to get the pinch, but they can't find it. Truly with a shot, but just Platbo with the deny. Fast break downfield. Here comes ZAVE Esports looking to make a statement, trying to go to up the Platbo. Look at there, he is there right on the money. ZAVE Esports can't find the net so far. Platbo with just a bit of time. Can he find something? No. Over the Lakes? No. Just gets denied once again by Platbo. And now it's ZAVE Esports back on defend, but here comes Truly. Truly can't get that touch. Don't know what he was doing. Here's another one, but Platbo with just a deny of the save.
Yeah, and now Truly just gonna elect to pass this down. The shot from Lakes not gonna go their way, but this one tipped by a defender, and Dimes will be the benefactor as that is a 2-0 lead. And just an unfortunate touch from Nitro. He just misread this a little bit and then didn't have the boost to adjust.
Yeah, he didn't have the boost to it. That's just a very awkward touch by Nitro. Sometimes not what you want to set up in the bit, but sometimes it does pay off for the other team. As Platbo empty net, and just like that, Bearcats are back in towards the game. An awkwardly weird kickoff, but it goes in the favor of Cincinnati.
And that's a great job by Cincinnati. Kickoff strategies are becoming the name of this game, and you saw it there. Demo the last man. And when there's no last man, there's no one that's going to stop you. And Cincinnati now have this within 1. Still 2 minutes to go, so plenty of time, but you definitely got to start to sweat a little bit, especially when you have this kind of offensive pressure from ZAVE. Lakes looking to pop it over, looking for a double, gonna leave it, and his teammate just couldn't get there in time, as Truly was close, but not close enough.
Close, but no cigar. The setup was there, but the execution just fell a bit flat. Platbo tries to at least slam it onto the field, but he gets denied as Lake stops the pass, gets rewarded for a demo. Platbo once again, no man, back downfield, but it's not gonna deny it. Nitro too late, and it's 3-1 in favor of ZAVE Esports.
Yeah, and now you gotta wonder, do Cincinnati have something in their back pocket again? There's still 1:24. That's the good news. The bad news, there's 1:24. As you have to try to figure this out, and Truly throwing this across to his waiting teammate. Reset, back wall, not able to find it, but there's the follow-up from Lakes and Cairo. gonna be able to get a free clear out as Truly just trying to put this down to the corner. Dimes is gonna receive. Ball bounces middle. Plapo cannot get around it, and Truly will corral until Cairo puts on a shot and Lakes is under duress, but Lakes is so great as he will keep this one away and keep it at a 2-goal lead, and Dimes almost made it one more, but Cairo will deny.
Just great defense from UC Bearcats Black. They just need more. They need those shots to follow as Lakes looks for the double tap. Oh my god! And it's 3-1 and ZAVE Esports looks to be running away. Watch this one more time off the backboard, and Lakes is going to slam it in like he's Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes, and now you see ZAVE Esports starting to roll, and the University of Cincinnati are going to have to figure this one out. You're probably out of time in this game. You still have one more, but you're going to have to look for a reverse sweep. ZAVE should not be giving up this game. It would be a travesty if they did. Up so much, especially with such good players. And there's a whip and a double whip. And ladies and gentlemen, I didn't know I signed up for Cincinnati. Looks like I'm out there. And Cincinnati will now have to tuck their tail between their legs and try to figure it out for game 2.
Just a double whip, double miss attempt, not what they're looking for. That's going to haunt them forever as ZAVE Esports takes game 1. A score of 4-1. My goodness, ZAVE Esports, shout out to them. They fired on all cylinders. They're looking to go to game 2 already, looking to just an easy sweep. But UC Bearcats Black played good in that first one, but a lot of mistakes they were doing. They looked to be a bit more passive in that first game, not really just kind of taking risk versus reward. You saw ZAVE Esports just felt so much comfortable in that game. They were honestly firing on all cylinders. The teamwork, the double plays, just a lot of awkward touches for UC Bearcats.
Yeah, and also the thing is this UC Bearcats Black roster, this is their first ever tournament together, so definitely going to have some growing pains. And I would say it was a good game 1 regardless of the scoreline. It started to fall apart at the end, but that's when you're really trying to push for some goals and try to get it back. So definitely some pressure. But speaking of pressure, Dimes back wall blocked away by Plapo. Follow up. Truly, no, it doesn't go. And Cairo will clear it. And ZAVE almost put the dot in the exclamation points with that goal. But they're going to try to transition back to offense. And now this one thrown to the middle. Plapo unable to fully clear it as Dimes takes over, takes to the skies, air dribble. Plapo gets the clear out, and with the demo onto Truly, that should stop the offense for now.
Yeah, if you're the Bearcats right now, you have to apply just so much pressure. ZAVE Esports does not make a lot of mistakes, but when they do, you have to take advantage of that. And speaking of taking advantage, Nitro puts it on the board for UC Bearcats. There go those Bearcats.
And now they have a lead. You got to keep that in mind, is that ZAVE are up that game. UC gotta try to hold this lead now, but Truly gonna take it off the ceiling. Awkward landing, not gonna be able to follow this up with much more. But it seems like the Bearcats are starting to figure out the team play. You gotta watch for them swarming. But Lake's gonna be able to stop it for now. Plapo with a little bit of a whiff. Maybe it was calculated. Nitro shot off the back wall. Unable to get the follow-up as a great clear from a ZAVE player will keep it at 1-0. And now a little bit more faking coming out. Dimes gonna throw it high, but Nitro has the clear out to the corner. This one, back wall. Lake's not able to get it through. Dimes takes it over from the sidewall, has a flip, has the double, no he doesn't, but Lakes has it, and it's a tie game!
And just like that, it's ZAVE Esports taking advantage of the miscommunication from the Bearcats. Lakes obviously saw the open net, says I'm gonna put my little touch on it, and we are tied up 3-12. Left to go. That's Bearcats with the possession, but here comes Truly, pops it into the air. Very empty net, but there's Plapo just ready to make him pay for that. ZAVE Esports looking to try to just stop the momentum so far to regain the lead. Truly, shot on the way, and he will not miss a beat. And just like that, ZAVE Esports is back in front.
Just an awkward miscommunication and an awkward touch. Plapo and Cairo both spending some time on the back wall, and you could see that Plapo, just an unfortunate touch. We've all been in that situation before, and speaking of unfortunate for the side of UC, ZAVE will pick up a kickoff goal, and Nitro just accidentally double jumping.
I'm not sure what the game plan was for the Bearcats. I don't know if the idea was to have two people go for the kickoff, but you saw that Nitro just kind of double jumped and just an easy kickoff for ZAVE Esports. As you now see, ZAVE Esports once again a bit of the pressure. There's a shot from Lake, but denied by Platbo. ZAVE Esports still applying a bit of the pressure. The teamwork on display. What a play from ZAVE Esports! My goodness, and it is Lakes once again.
Yeah, and you can see the low boost there between all the members, and just point to point to point as the ball will end up in your goal. And for UC now, the wheels are starting to fall off a little bit, but they still have time here in this one, and they definitely played a good first minute or two, and so they could bring this back, but they really got to figure it out, and figure it out now, as Truly throws it down to Lakes, gonna be shut down by the UC defense. Dimes double tap, doesn't go through, and Plapo throws it down. Truly finding an opening, and he will, and it's just another goal for Truly.
Oh my goodness, another goal for ZAVE Esports. They're running away with this one. A chance for a Brazil in RLCS. It's looking very likely if the Bearcats do not start to pick it up together. They might have a chance with this kickoff, but there comes ZAVE Esports immediately reading them like a book. You see a couple players just trying to get their footing just for a little bit. ZAVE Esports on the defense now, trying to make a play. There's a chance, a chance for Bearcats to make a shot, but it's not going to go their way. Platbo tries to get a shot, but he gets denied by Truly. Now ZAVE Esports applying a bit of the pressure. They're on momentum, but just like that, Bearcats are merely on their tail. Nitro pops into the air, gonna keep with a bit of a dribble, empty net, and Dimes is going to score, and a chance of a Brazil is on the way, folks.
A great job by Dimes in just being able to be there. And now ZAVE running circles around the Bearcats. Now, again, this Bearcats team is a new team, so I would take this result with a grain of salt, as Truly it just bounces down off the backboard, and the Brazilian flag will make an appearance, as we do have a Brazil. But for the side of UC, this is a good ZAVE roster, so I wouldn't be too harsh on yourselves with this. It's unlikely they make a comeback in the next minute and 30, but they'll have to fight through the lower bracket if they cannot figure this out in a hurry.
Yeah, and like you said, this is the Bearcats' first tournament that they've played in, so no harm, no foul from them, as Truly just gets another goal. Not much you can really say. This is a very good ZAVE Esports roster. We talked about Truly, we talked about Dimes, and the other player as well. I'm getting names just for a little bit, Legs, but we can just see how good this ZAVE Esports roster really is.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, when it rains, it pours, and Lake's gonna provide all the water for the downpour as he scores yet again, and ZAVE are just running up the score at this point, and UC gave it a good effort. They kept it close for a bit, but eventually the dam had to break.
Yeah, you know, the dam had to break, and it's just very unfortunate, but like we said, you know, this is, you know, it's your first outing, so you have a bit of time to kind of review the tape, see what happens. You know, not everything looks bad right now. I know the score says a lot, but this is a good learning first curve to see how you play, kind of figure out what can you do, what the mistake that you had coming into this game. As that clock just ticks down to 40 seconds, it's 9-1. Not much you can really say about this game.
Yeah, and unfortunately, through day one, some teams just have to go through this where they just got to get stomped, and especially as a new team, that's how it goes. Someone's got to kick your teeth in. That's how you bounce back, and obviously, hopefully for these players, they can take a look at these replays and learn from this experience, because this is a tough roster. And so by no means should you keep your head down if you're Cincinnati. It's just a part of that learning curve. I remember my first time getting our teeth kicked in, as my team was running through teams 3-0, 3-1, and then we got 3-1, and we were like, oh, we really need to work on this.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's just the communication aspect. A lot of times we see not only in Rocket Rush but in RLCS just a lot of very poor communication, a lot of double commits, a lot of triple commits, a lot of times that we should not see players going for stuff that they really shouldn't go for. And if you're the Bearcats right now, I think this is a good chance, a good learning opportunity to kind of figure out a bit of team roles. Who's going to be that first man up, and it's just simple Rocket League play that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, and I'd like to give credit where credit is due. They kept it close for a bit in each of the games, especially in that game one. I know the scoreline was 4-1, but ladies and gentlemen, that was more like a 2-1, 3-1. As eventually, as you start losing, especially in that last minute, you just got to start pushing, and you got to sacrifice some defense in order to push. And so for the Bearcats, I'd say you played a good 5 to 6 minutes of Rocket League. So definitely not. It definitely had some highlights, I'd say. But for ZAVE, you're looking good, you're looking strong, and you're looking to march on to the next matchup, which will be against the winner of who's going to carry the boats and Calypso Carballs. And so that'll be an interesting match to see. And it did just get confirmed. Who's going to carry the boats has gone through. So we're going to have to wait for those teams to get checked in. But for ZAVE, you're 1 win away from day 2. The problem is there's still team silenced in the upper side of the bracket. But Kenzo, looking ahead, what would you expect for this upcoming series?
I would expect ZAVE Esports to kind of do what they've been doing before, right? Like you said, we know this roster. This roster is very good. Considering what we saw in the first game, this roster just might take them to day 2. And if ZAVE Esports carries that momentum coming into the second game, I believe that they might have a chance to go all the way.
I gotta agree with you there, and it'll definitely be interesting, as we do know that the first ZAVE roster did make top 100, and so obviously with the new roster, you gotta kind of carry on that legacy, but obviously for these guys, they're also setting their own legacy right now. And I'm sure they'd like to start it off strong after an Open 2 where they all just barely missed out on top 100.
Yeah, like you said, True, Lakes, and Dimes, they just proved themselves to kind of set a standard for ZAVE Esports. Not gonna lie. But the question, like I said before, is how are they going to just propel themselves into this game? Like I said, just keep your momentum going. You already proven that you have a bit of what it takes to kind of carry yourselves forward. Now you're playing another team that quite possibly might give you a run for your money, and that's the thing, And speaking of ZAVE Esports past before, we seen them in Rocket Rush. We know the fact that this team, ZAVE Esports has played a bit of the catch-up game. Sometimes they lose that first game to go down to lower brackets, and they kind of play from there. This could be a scenario like that, or like I said before, this could be where they just run through the whole upper bracket.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. And just a reminder of who's gonna carry the boats. It's Widow, David Goggins, and Robs. Now, I'm not as familiar with the players. I believe Widow has had a few results through qualifiers, but I don't believe any of these players have really broken through that plane to the next level yet. So, going to be an interesting matchup. And again, just a reminder of what's on the line is the winner of this match goes to the winner semifinal, where you are guaranteed a ticket to day 2. The loser goes down to the lower bracket and is going to have to play it through a few more matches in order to make day 2. Obviously, you want to go through uppers, as you will get a better seed whether you win or lose that final match. But I'm just kind of waiting for check-ins to open and players to sign up. And just a little bit of a shout out to Champions League, a mixed rank 3v3 league that ZAVE and Nameless have partnered with. Going to have an interesting season 3 coming up in the next few months. But looking back at ZAVE, obviously, do you feel like there's extra pressure on this roster, Kenzo, considering that previously the old roster made top 100? Do you feel like there's like a legacy they have to uphold?
I believe so. Yeah, just like in real life, when when you're on a championship team that has a new roster, you have that sort of like expectations to kind of feel like, okay, this is a new roster, but this team has made top 100 before. They've been champions before, so it's kind of the pressure to kind of continue that legacy that you already have built up. If this new roster wants to kind of continue that, I think they have to at least kind of take on a bit of that pressure, kind of just, get comfortable playing at a high level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And obviously, every roster has its growing pains. And again, all 3 of these players have played through RLCS calls before, but this is a new roster. We did just get word we'll be starting in the next few minutes. Players have checked in, but it's going to take a little bit. And unfortunately, just with the state of RLCS, you don't really have a little bit. You'll have a little bit after this qualifier if you don't make the major, but it's still, it can be rough. And so we know how teams swap in and out between qualifiers. It's going to be interesting to see if this team sticks based on the result or not, but hopefully, obviously, ZAVE can have a good result, and the next step in the journey is facing who's going to carry the boats.
Yeah, and like I said, this could be a very life-changing for them if they do pull off this win, but who's going to carry the boats might give them a bit of the pressure. We don't know how this roster is going to shape up for the other team, but ZAVE Esports does. They can't worry about what ifs. They have to focus on, like, we have to lock in, we have to keep doing what we're doing, and if they do that, ZAVE Esports just might take it all the way as we get set with this matchup. And already on the kickoff goal, it's Dimes, and ZAVE Esports jumps out. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, these players looking to speed around the bracket, they immediately checked in and they were ready to go, and 2 seconds in, ZAVE have a goal, and you can see the kickoff strategies coming out. Now, that's a bit of a risky one. When you hard cheat, you can get burnt on it, but it worked out there in their favor, and this passing play way work out in their favor.
Oh!
That's what a play between Lakes and Dimes.
The dynamic duo, look at this, just back and forth between these two. Oh, I know who's going to carry the boat. W was really not in his favor. My goodness, that's a 2v1 scenario that you just can't fight out of. And now it's ZAVE Esports with a 2-goal lead. They have all the momentum running on their side right now as W looks to get it in towards the net. And who's going to carry the boat has a goal, and they're down 2-1.
Yeah, and I believe W is going to be Widow. Just a note for all the people watching at home. But A great passing play there. Obviously, just an awkward bounce off that top bend. But Dimes going to take to the skies, looking for the double. Going to be shut down by Widow, who has a relatively easy clear here. Going to have to go back to the drawing board, as this one is awkward. But you can see Truly does get the boost in the corner. So that will delay who's going to carry the boats. But now Truly in a bit of an awkward position, going to need a little bit of help, and his teammate is going to be there to help out as Demo's flying in across the board, and the net may be open, but in ZAVE, we're not ready for it to be open, and the store open, but we said we wanted to wait outside for 5 more minutes.
Yeah, the net may be open and ready, but ZAVE was not ready. But they do have a second chance. Legs, was looking for that reset, but just saw Widow there. Just kind of cut him off. And we can see the ZAVE Esports defense slowly breaking, but however, they're going for the demos. The 2v3 in favor of who's going to carry. There's a shot, but it's going to be missed. And now it's ZAVE Esports with the chance to make a play. They're applying a little pressure as we see Legs flies to the air. Looks for that reset. Going to get cut off by Widow. Into the corner they go. ZAVE Esports applying a bit of the pressure. David Goggins trying to bust out, but he is going to get just demoed on the play. As ZAVE Esports with the pass. Oh, but they missed it. Oh my goodness, that was a chance to get a goal.
Yeah, that was a chance gone by the wayside. They should get plenty more over the next 3 minutes. And for who's going to carry the boats, they are still down a goal. And they obviously hate casters with a name like that. Such a hard name to pronounce off the tip of your tongue. But this one going to be thrown back to Robs, who's going to only throw it into the corner. And Widow has to make an awkward save. And who's going to carry the boats? He's still down a goal, but they have plenty of time. So they don't need to start sweating yet, especially when David Goggins is dribbling it through like this, and this one just gonna fall into the ZAVE net.
Oh my goodness, that is the best technique I've seen so far. David Goggins just kind of slowly dribbled the ball, and there is just it's just not enough for ZAVE Esports. Very awkward play for them. 2-2, tied to 30. Left to go on the clock. ZAVE Esports now on the backside. They're being pressured as we see Widow pops it in the air straight towards the ceiling. Down on the ground. Very awkward, but ZAVE Esports just adjust themselves to make a play. As we see Ross just sends it downfield over to, I think that's Truly. Yes, it is. Into the corner they go. Widow with a bit of an air dribble. Great dribbling. Tries to reset himself, but it's not going to find anything. Once again, over to Dimes. Dimes flies to the air. Trying to make one play with boost. He has. Oh, just a miss by Robs. But his teammate is ready to make a play. ZAVE Esports rotating back. Downfield. Over to David Goggins. Goggins. Oh, a bit too high for him, but he's going to get another chance. And it's 3-2. ZAVE Esports is falling behind.
Yeah, and this is just really awkward for Truly to try to field such a tough position. Do you go for the backflip and try to get the dunk there, or do you just try to defend the front post? And obviously the choice was not the right one. And now ZAVE, for the first time, on the back foot, and they're going to have to figure this one out. Maybe they do with this pass from Lakes, but Dimes didn't understand the plan and Truly almost got that one through. But Widow going to be able to get it to the sidewall. Is Truly just trying to get a pass down to Dimes, but he doesn't have the boost to really get it anywhere, as Dimes will have it pickpocketed by Widow, who's just trying to take it the full length of the field and burn some clock. But for ZAVE, they are down to 1:20 and they must get a goal.
Yeah, 1:10 left to go. They need a goal to send this game into overtime if they can. They're applying a bit of the pressure. They're looking to get it. Legs, what a shot chance. No, Robs with the save. Looking to just keep it a 1-goal game. ZAVE Esports applying the pressure as we head in towards the minute. Legs rides the wall. Sends it just a bit off target. David Gong is going to deny it. A demo for ZAVE Esports as Legs circles around, but there is Robs. We're going to cut him off. Truly just pops it. Just looking to redirect it off the crossbar. No, a miss for Widow. And now, who's going to carry the boats back out on defense? Robs looking to go flies through the air. Looking just got to clear a bit of the pressure. Legs over. Just a misfire. Miscalculation from ZAVE Esports. There's Dimes. 30 seconds left. Can they make a play? Oh, there's Widow with saying no chance for overtime.
Yeah, and for that is just a beautiful flick, and Dimes couldn't see Widow out of his driver's side mirror, and Widow is just there for the perfect dunk. And for ZAVE Esports now, you have 29 seconds to figure this one out. Otherwise, you're going to have to go down and figure it out from behind. Lakes looking off the ceiling, has a reset off the back wall, blocked away by Goggins. Dimes trying to keep this in, trying to find a goal, but they have 10 seconds and you got to go. And you are running out of time, you are running out of space, and you are running out of possession. And ZAVE will go down 1-0, and they're going to have to try to figure this out. Maybe a beauty for the road, and it hits the ground, so it will only count in our hearts.
Just too little too late for ZAVE Esports. Had all the momentum. Had they had many chances to score, but the shots were just not connecting. You saw so many times that they almost had the goal, but it was just like either players were out of position or just very bad communication. However, this is just game one, so they have a chance to make up in game two. And here's the thing, we've seen ZAVE Esports play like this before when they've been down a game but they managed to come back. For example, our Rocky Rush tournament, we saw them already down a game but they managed to come back and reverse sweep. This could be the same scenario for them in this RLCS Open, but coming into game two, you're gonna have to at least pick up the pace. You can't make the mistakes. You saw who's gonna carry the balls, you saw them just take advantage of what ZAVE Esports was doing.
Yeah, and now as we get into game two, ZAVE will have potentially in their final moment in this upper bracket. They are down to their final life here in day one early. And again, ladies and gentlemen, it is a best of three. You have to figure this out now as you are out of time. Goggins going to be bumped off, and Robs will have an early goal.
Just a lot of just very technical. Watch this. Robs and David Goggins really just kind of faked each other, but you saw truly he tried to make a play, but not enough boost to come there. ZAVE Esports down 1-0, 4:43. They're down to the last life. They have to clutch it up if they want to continue, and they might just get it. There's a demo. Legs all just a bit out of position as the ball head towards their side of the field. In towards the corner. David Goggins just going to miss entirely, and ZAVE Esports is going to get possession of it. They're trying to set something up, but the Widow is going to cut them off. Or David Goggins tries to fake them out, but there's truly with the save. ZAVE Esports finds with the pressure downfield, goes there, momentum, and Widow right there is going to get another save. In pressure, now comes who's going to carry the balls. Rob looks to fly through the air, ball heading towards the corner. There is Lakes to cut them off. David Goggins also going to cut off truly. ZAVE Esports on the back burner, just being pressured. There's pressure coming from them. Oh, just off the crossbar, but they can't find the net. And Robs is going to take advantage of it unless ZAVE Esports does something. Dimes over in towards the corner. They have to find the net, but they just can't find anything. ZAVE Esports is taking a lot of shots, but they're missing them.
Yeah, and it feels like ZAVE Esports are just playing with a lot of nerves. You're seeing a lot of communication errors and some rotation errors, and it just feels like the boys are nervous as Lake's gonna find himself in a 1-versus-1. This should be it, but he got in Dimes' way. He landed in front of Dimes, and that's just so unfortunate. And that's another opportunity gone by the wayside for ZAVE.
ZAVE Esports has everything, but they're getting in their own way. They can't do that. They have to give each other a little breathing room. They have to get back to what they were doing before. The rotations. They have to get back to communication. As you just see, pops over the end, and there's Robs again with his second goal. ZAVE Esports down 2-0. The dream is slowly fading away for ZAVE Esports.
Yes, and they need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out fast. The good news is you have 3 minutes, but the bad news is you haven't been able to find offense. You've had a lot of scary looking opportunities, but you're only scary if you can actually come through with those opportunities. As it's like a king who never punishes anybody. You're not gonna fear him. as Lakes looking to establish himself as the Scary King, but it's going to be knocked away from him. Truly going to be able to shut this down, and a double demo is going to have to reset the boats back to their end of the field. But Widow has an air dribble. Lake's going to be able to get it past him, but look at the boost totals. There's not enough boost, and this is the other issue that ZAVE have experienced. The boost totals have not been there for them when they need it. And now it's going to be thrown back to the ZAVE end of the field as Dime's going to have to make a clear, but he's not going to be able to hit it. And Lakes is going to take it on an air dribble, and now it's going to be challenged, but it's just going to be sent down to the boats' end. And Widow trying to keep it away as demos go off left and right, and players are destroyed left and right. As Truly takes to the skies over to Lakes, shut down by Robs.
Robs is kind of making his name and wants to challenge ZAVE Esports for that title of best team in this game. If ZAVE Esports does not clutch up there, they're going home. They have to figure out a way. That's an empty now. Oh, and Widow is going to get credit. The assist for Robs, and it's 1:33 left. ZAVE Esports is faltering. I don't know what's happening. It seems like they're just not rotating enough.
This is one of the problems when you have a new team coming together. The pressure gets to you, and some teams, pressure forms diamonds. Others, they tend to crumble, and right now we're just seeing ZAVE crumble in the face of the pressure. Now, the good news is this is your life in the upper bracket, so you will have another chance. But these guys, if they want to make a comeback in this next minute, they need to take a deep breath. Do you have a leader in the comms who can calm the boys and turn this around? Dimes trying to be the man, looks to send it net where Goggins should get there, and he does with a good clear. But Demo, backline, Leaks, doubles, puts it for a teammate, and Joey has it!
There you go. That's what ZAVE Esports need to do. They just need to rely on their teamwork and communication. The misfire from who's going to carry the boat finally came back to bite them, but time is not on their side. 3-1, 51 seconds left. They just need 2 more to send it to overtime. Here's Widow. Widow flies to the air. It's just gonna be back. Can they do it? Yeah, no, it looks to be a save by Lakes. Now Dimes with the pressure, very empty net. Widow is there to make a play. There's a demo from who's gonna carry the boats. Here's Truly just gonna meet them into the corner. Goes ZAVE Esports. Time is ticking away. 30 seconds left for ZAVE Esports. They have to clutch it up, otherwise it's game over for them. Once again, into the corner, applying just a bit of the pressure. Truly's gonna meet them there. Can they get into the corner? David Goggins is going to meet them there. Time is ticking away. 15 seconds left. Lakes with a shot on the goal. He has it! Lakes makes it a 1-score game.
And a great job by Truly recognizing he cannot contribute more to the play and we need a goal. So he just runs down the defender and takes him out. 13 seconds left for ZAVE's upper bracket life here. They got to figure it out, and they got to figure it out now. Kickoff goes the way of Widow, and Widow might have just secured this game. 5 seconds left. Lake's trying to get it down to a teammate, but Goggins shuts it down. Final opportunity for Dimes. Takes to the skies. Awkward ball. Truly keeps it up, but it'll be put down, and who's going to carry the boats will move on in the upper bracket.
Just unfortunate for ZAVE. We're so close, but no cigar. They had everything going. That final minute, they were slowly looking like their old selves, but a lot of miscommunication is what kind of killed them in the early minutes of the match. And you gotta give credit to who's gonna carry the boats. They played very well.
Yeah, they did play very well, and ZAVE will move down to the lower bracket here, as taking a look at who they should be facing. They will be facing, let's see, trying to find them on the list, and give me 1 second. They will be facing the upper side in losers round 4. They are currently awaiting O-Word is awaiting the winner of Comeback C and and who is waiting on another match that checked in late. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to send it to a long pause. We do have to wait for 2 more matchups, so we will see you all on the other side of this break.
We got 15 seconds on the clock.
15 seconds. Can you get it done in regulation, or will we have to go to overtime? Gengar air dribbles over everyone. 90%, 2 goals back to back off the kickoff. Gengar shows up big. Air dribble, bumps Sith out of the way, says, "Give me that goal." And now show up once more, and now it will. So Wolfie starting to air dribble forward. The bump trying to come through from Reeker. Reeker won't be able to find it, but so Wolfie will, and he'll find the goal. So Wolfie has both here for the ZAVE Esports, and they have tied it up 2-2 going in to the latter half of this game too.
Gonna dribble it in the air. Ooh, the accidental bump on Sith going for it. But still able to make it in time. Off the wall. Oh my goodness, almost fell into the corner. But it sets up perfectly for Reeker to take the first goal of game 4.
Sith, a phenomenal job there. The double tap off the post, and Reeker.
And this is, like you said, a war of attrition. Who can hold out until the last second?
Yeah, it's all about that as Chris gets it in. Finally, a score happens. He forced his way as Dr. Duck tried to make the last second save, but it was not going to be nice. He actually, Chris knocked the player out of the way.
No, can't get the angle. So
way too much.
He's looking for it. Oh, he's gonna score! So Whoopi seals the game! 10 seconds left. Rhyme or reason does not matter when there's that little time, so Whoopi puts it away and slams the clock on the floor. We might be looking.
ZAVE Esports, congratulations. You finally done it. You are our champion.
Not to sell it. Vi gets it out of the way. Vi's going to bring it up the wall. He's going to look towards the middle. He has Breezy in the middle. He's going to get it to him. 3 back. Hey, whoa! Dude! Are we stat padding? He just bumped his own teammate. He scored.
That was actually a beautiful read. That's actually a really tough ball to cut across your
What ZAVE Esports can do to, mitigate their losses, but and try not to lose this game one by more than 1 goal. And what is this play coming up from ZAVE Esports? Are you kidding me? It looks like it was maybe a double. I mean, I don't want to, talk down on these guys' team play, but look at that. What?
Shrink back into their box and wait as Risky comes off the ceiling, gets a reset beautifully, puts it top in. Again, the story completely flips for ADSF. They looked a little bit impotent in the first game, and they showed that that is not their character.
Pitch out from Roxer, almost spelling danger for ADSF, but now it's Ned looking for the flip reset over one, gets the double tap! Are you kidding me? That is the response that we are looking for. Ness says, I'm going to do it all myself, flip reset over 2, and then the double tap. Oh!
into them incredibly well here.
Oh my
what a
goodness!
finish.
What a
Oh my
shot!
Again, he is showing the pressure, and that is a backboard touch. I honestly thought he was on the wrong team and scored in his own.
Okay, I want you to cut that half right now.
It's time to launch an all-new season of Rocket Rush.
Played as well over the defense and
Will it be a goal? Oh, it's gonna hit off the corner.
Consistent Rocket League competition with no long-term commitment.
Rocket Rush weekly, a second week.
To the third iteration.
Week 4, 5, 6.
The 7th
Week number 8, 9.
Rocket Rush 10. Each season will consist of 10 weeks. Don't worry, the $100 prize pool will not be going anywhere. During those 10 weeks, the top 16 teams,
Valley Esports Red,
Tokyo United, Banana Lovers, it's Calgary,
ZAVE Esports,
Team Silence,
ZAVE Academy,
Benag,
Portuguese Bim Bam.
get points based on their performance. The later we are in the season, the more points you will get per placement. The top 6 teams by the end will get a free invite to the final event of the season. May 2nd, an open double elimination tournament to determine 2 wildcards that will be joining the 6 already invited teams. And then on May 3rd, a single elimination best of 7 tournament where the winner will claim the $500 prize pool and their name engraved in Rocket Rush history. Do you have what it takes to be a champion? Why don't we find out?
Swag still going to be here trying to make sure they get it over towards that blue half.
Okay, kind of bringing it towards him though.
8 seconds left to go. You got one last chance.
Keep in the air.
That's what he did, trying to put it over towards the orange side. 2 seconds up towards the top. Phantom K clears it out, and that's going to be right to he should be able to get one. No, it's going to go back.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
Finds the last second heroic goal, and that will be Purpose Gaming taking. Attack is on to the side of the ball. Slappers, it's looking like a good one. Demon's able to make the save.
Demon denies exact the equalizer, but he comes right back. He knew he had the defense beat. He knew they used all their resources to keep him out the first time, so he just had to bide his time. Get to
And you find an answer once.
Match of the upper finals. Reeker and Co. trying to figure it out, but Bellin somehow keeps that out. The pressure's still on as his ball is hanging on a thread. Reeker trying to send it in. Here's the follow-up. Not right.
Great touch towards the wall. Here's Natra. Natra's demoed. And here we go. Maj.
Defense, and there was no one there to play defense. No, it's a disaster. 4 for disaster. Oh.
Pretty much as Taliska goes up another goal. 5-4. This game is not over just yet, folks. Portuguese Bim Bam looks to say game over. Now the
L was coming in to try and get that one in, but Monk just was there for the clear. They can get this one. Oh, no, they have 2 seconds left as
No, it's not possible.
L finally gets the redemption, and he'll cement that goal, giving his has Reeker waiting for it. Goes right to Reeker off the wall, but Fast is wiser to it. Sith's now going to struggle to try and keep it out. Gets a beautiful reset and sends it to Reeker. What a beautiful play by Sith as he freezes the ball in net, or excuse me, in the middle of the air and gets a tremendous reset. And Reeker was ready the whole time.
Yeah, you have to. And that was a great analogy, as you can just see as oh my goodness, Monk already shut me up.
What a reset.
The casters can't happen to be a game, can it? As Monk, he has that reset, fakes out. Yeah, they are. They almost had something. Rotating up had something on, but just evenly denies. Bug gets a shot. That boy towards the net, and Fast
Where
is going
does
to
that
tie it
come
up.
from? Where does that come from?
I don't know.
He's
but
on
you
the
can just-
ceiling. The ceiling reset. He knows to hold it the whole time. He's
Anyway, I'm sorry to technical productions, but we are officially back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to day 1, I believe, if I'm getting this right. Yes, this is RLCS Esports Open Team 3 stream. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We got another matchup for you guys. It's O-Word taking on ZAVE Esports, ladies and gentlemen. ZAVE Esports did not have a good showing out in the upper bracket, but this is a trend with them. They like to play the lower brackets. They like to play the lower brackets. They've done this before multiple times coming back to our Rocket Rush tournament. They've done it actually for 4 straight weeks in our in our weekly ones. In week 4 they did win the grand finals, and then in Rocket Rush season 1 week 1 they did it again. So 5 straight times they've pulled on the lower bracket kings, as we like to call it. As we see, Shadow Driller finally got his camera back on.
Video decided to have me sit in video and say that it was on when it wasn't actually working. Thank you very much. But apparently I got my extra life taken away too here on the broadcast. But I didn't get to hear the first part of what you said, but did you update them about an interesting upset? Is who's going to carry the boats is 1 game away from sweeping Team Silenced in the upper bracket.
Yeah, which is crazy because Team Silence is a very top team in RL. So that is a huge upset, and hopefully, who's gonna carry the ball is gonna carry that momentum, pun intended, into day two. But back to ZAVE Esports, this, like we said, this is a lower bracket Kings team. You know, they like to do that, so maybe around this time they will push that momentum going not coming to going all the way into day two.
Maybe it's just what they got to do to feel more comfortable. I mean, I've met players and seen teams that they play best when their back is to the wall. And so maybe that's a little bit of what we're seeing here. And obviously, O-Word, still a good team. We can take a look at their roster real quick for O-Word, as they did get here through a 2-0 sweep. And just take a look at, well, this is the ZAVE roster, True, Lakes, and Dimes. We've seen them before, and we're about to see them again after that break. And you gotta wonder, does a long break favor that team that just played, or does it favor ZAVE a bit more?
I think it favors. I would say it does favor ZAVE because it does allow them to kind of catch up and a lot of refine their team strategies. Because we've seen in the last few games that they are capable of playing it, but when the pressure is on them, they seem to kind of just falter just a little bit. They kind of tend to do that. However, the question will be, can they pull it off? I think they can, because like I said, this is a top team. But you know, looking at O-Word's roster, Zavi, Seiya, and Onyx, not much we can really say about these players. But Zave's roster, you know, Shrew, Lakes, and Dimes, I mean, this is a high caliber roster, so they kind of have a bit of an advantage coming into this game.
I definitely say so, and I think they're going to play with a fire lit under them, as they are probably not happy about losing that series, regardless of how good the team is. And now the job just gets a lot tougher, and you got to play a longer night, as you're going to have to play it through this series and one more to make it to day two. But now, as we get into this matchup, it's the final life for both of these teams, as ZAVE look to bounce back and almost start with an early goal. That's a great way to bounce back and get some confidence back, but it's not going to fully come to fruition yet.
Yeah, not enough to jumpstart an early goal, but that does put a message into the tone of saying, hey, you better watch what we do, otherwise we are going to score quickly on you. As we see ZAVE Esports with the backs against the wall, a little bit of pressure as the ball's on their side of the field. As Truly just going to send it as Seiya went for that shot. Truly gets credit with the save. Ball goes back towards Zave's side of the field. There's another attempt from O-Word that gets equally denied. As Dimes looks to send it over to Lakes. Lakes trying to cut him off. Pops it over a man, and Dimes is going to get the goal, and ZAVE Esports is up 1-0.
Just like that old Kevin Love commercial where he's standing on the card dropping dimes. A great pass from Lakes, and Dimes will take advantage of that. And that is an early lead for ZAVE, who we expect to win this 2-0, and we expect them to make day two. And that's definitely the expectation for players of this caliber. But this passing play going to be blocked away by Dimes. And now going back the other way, Xavier needs to make a save, and he does. And Lakes just a little bouncer over him, and he'll leave it for Truly.
Yeah, and this is really good for ZAVE Esports right now, just kind of putting the pressure. And speaking of pressure, Lakes is going to put it in on the net. And 2-0, ZAVE Esports looks to shake off that. For it says last game didn't matter to us, it's all about the now. Lakes with the goal, and Truly gets credit for the assist. 2-0, 3:41 left to go on the clock as we get ready for another kickoff. That 50 gonna go to ZAVE, a little too high off the crossbar. Seiya with possession, and the ball is gonna maybe head towards Onyx. Yes, it will. Onyx passes over to Seiya. Seiya, oh, thought a bump was gonna happen, but it's not. But no, Lakes with a bit of control just gets met. ZAVE Esports just passed the ball around, looks to try to set up a play if they can Lakes right around his own side of the field. As we see the great touch, a little bit of miscommunication, but it's not going to bother him in the slightest. Over in the corner goes Say with a chance to make a shot. Blood away. Well, just a very bad touch for ZAVE Esports. It's 2-1.
Yeah, and an awkward positioning there in the rotations where you didn't really have a man on that half of the field, and for Truly, you had to cover the front post, but it just made it so you're kind of sitting in the middle as you were kind of the only one who could get back to it, and Saya just taking a good shot. But now Lake's trying to dribble it through. He gets it past two. Truly gonna take over, looking for Dimes, who's around in the mid, gonna be bumped away, and now ZAVE will have to recalibrate the offense yet again, but they are still up a goal, so there's no need to rush or force anything, except Xavier may be able to force this one through. Lakes with the great save, and the follow-up from Onyx will come through.
Yeah, just a very awkward, very unfortunate goal. You see Zabby missed the first time. Onyx comes in, cleans it up. Lakes just not there in the time. You know, that's really not on Lakes' fault. Just a very awkward landing for them. And tied 2-2, 2:40 left. Still a lot of time for ZAVE Esports. They do have a chance to get the offensive gear. Dimes is going to back off for a minute. Kind of resetting himself. Flicks over one man. As that ball is going to be met, yes it will, by Lakes. Lakes just popped it into the air, flashed through the air. It's going to be met by Zabby. He's going to get bumped. Oh, there's a shot for Truly, but it's not going to be on target. Dimes with a chance. Yes, he will. And Dimes regains the lead for ZAVE Esports.
A great job, a great awareness from Truly to put that back to the middle, and you could see and that the third man for ZAVE was just running interference. A great job by Lakes to bump out the net, and that's exactly what we need for ZAVE to move on. Is we need this offense rolling. Reset from Lakes, not going to be able to get back around it, but Truly's going to be there with the follow-up double tap. Ooh! And he's got it. And Truly with the beauty will put them up by 2.
Like you said, they need the offense to get going, and the offense is already going. Full momentum with a 2-goal lead. ZAVE Esports just needs 2 games to head to day 2. Can they do it? Stay tuned to find out, as they're already looking. The pass is looking clean as crisp as Zavi rides the corner, pops it in towards the air. No ZAVE defender inside over the wheel. There's a bump from Dimes, I believe. And there's the touch going right back downfield. Dimes looking to make a play. Also off the crossbar. Can't find anybody. There is Lakes again. And Lakes with his second goal of the game. It's 2-5. ZAVE Esports is running away with it.
Yes, and this is how you bounce back with some momentum. As ZAVE are, like you said, just kind of running away with it. I mean, they're steamrolling them. We expected it, but to see it go into action is exactly what you want if you're any ZAVE Esports fan. And with a minute and 40 left, we've had 7 goals, and with 5 belonging to ZAVE, oh word, may just be out of this game 1.
Yeah, I think right now they're going to try to at least purpose themselves to game 2. They still have a chance to kind of tie it up, but they're going to need everything to go in their favor. They're going to have to catch ZAVE lacking a little bit, but however, ZAVE is not catching lacking. They are still with motions on their fine motor. Zavi just kind of gets that 50. He's not going to go anywhere near his favor as Saya pops into the air. Don's going to cut it off, just kind of redirected as Onyx trying to go off the crossbar. A little double tap, can't find anything. ZAVE Esports regains possession. Saya with just a light touch, not enough. 1 minute remaining in game 1 as the ball heads towards ZAVE's corner. Truly rotates, trying to go back towards his side of the net. Yes, they will. Lakes flies to the air. Bump's not even affecting him. And he's going to just let that go. Heads over to Truly. Truly with a chance. Nobody there. And there is Dimes. The hat trick for Dimes. And it's 6-2. And this game looks to be over.
This game is certainly over. And this series is going to be over if this is how it's going to go. ZAVE completely dominant here in game 1 as O-Word was able to find a few, but it's just not enough in the face of the power of this ZAVE squad.
Yeah, ZAVE Esports, this roster, as we talked about, is looking very crisp, very good. ZAVE Esports, they're not missing anything. They apparently that long break is all they needed to kind of get the momentum back in their favor. As we just see demos coming in left and right. 15 seconds left in game 1. Looks ZAVE Esports is just trying to just wear out the clock. 10 seconds left. Over the Lakes. Lakes trying to fake out 2 people. Oh, there's no third man back there, but that doesn't matter. 3 seconds left. 2, 1 ball will hit the ground in the nick of time. Onyx is trying to at least put one more goal. Trying to make it at least a 3-goal deficit. No. And ZAVE Esports is going to take the first game.
A great job by ZAVE there. And the biggest thing after taking a 2-0 loss like that, especially early on in day 1, is just being able to calm yourselves and bounce back. And we certainly saw that there, a strong bounce back, and that's exactly the kind of confidence booster that you needed.
Yeah, a very big confidence booster. And now with the momentum heading into this game 2, you have all the momentum in the world right now. You can't slow it down. You can't make a lot of mistakes. As we saw, Old World tried to give them a bit of pressure, but ZAVE was not going to be denied. As we head into game 2, the kickoff is in favor of ZAVE Esports. Very empty net. Oh, just an off target for Lakes.
Yes, and that was an open net, but that lineup from that positioning is so hard to hit. When you know kickoffs very well, you know that's almost an impossible one. But Sia just trying to throw it towards the net as they try to figure out this piece of the puzzle on how to slow down ZAVE, as ZAVE gonna take it long down the field, and Onyx gonna be able to take over and throw it into the corner, but it's gonna be shut down by Lakes & Co. And Lakes will get it past 1, truly gonna look to take over, has a 1 versus 2, has the flick, and ZAVE gonna be able to block it away.
ZAVE kind of read it like a book. You saw what they were trying to do. They said, no, we're going to make that just a bit harder for you. ZAVE Esports applying great pressure. Dime truly over everybody. My goodness. And truly knocks it in toward the net. 1-0 in favor of ZAVE Esports.
A great job to use the flip, and he kind of caught it a little bit on that ball. That was a little bit of a double touch, and it's just perfection from Truly as he puts ZAVE up here, and we can expect more of a victory march from the ZAVE team if they're going to play anything like they did in game 1.
Yeah, game 1 was probably the best chance I think Oldward had, but ZAVE just kind of ran away. If we're seeing a bit of a game 2, it's a bit more of a defensive front coming from both teams, as Lakes with a chance. Has the fast break downfield, looks for a shot on net. Oh, just a touch. Knocks it off its projection. Dies once again, maybe waiting for his team, as Truly gets a chance off the crossbar, a bit too much to the right. ZAVE Esports still applying the great pressure. Over trying to at least get the ball out of their side of the net as they head over to their side of the field. Here comes Sam on the fast break. Not nearly enough of the touch. The double commit does work out in favor of ZAVE. Off the wall, no, too fast, and Truly does not have the boost. Dimes going to make a play. Tries to set something up again. The shots are not connecting for ZAVE Esports.
Yeah, but that's okay. We know they'll figure it out, and they do still have a 1-goal lead, and they've hardly had to play defense here in this series, and you can see the offense starting to get rolling again, and every time O-Word is able to get on offense, it's just stopped immediately. This one passed high to Lake, gonna leave the waterfall for Dimes, but it's up in front of the net, and it's gonna be blocked away by ZAVE, and Onyx opts to throw it down, but it's just going to be Dimes turning on a dime, trying to get this one through. Not going to be able to as the pass comes out to ZAVE. ZAVE may have an open net. Can he get? No, Lakes gets there in time. And that might have been the best scoring opportunity O-Word have had in a while, and it goes by the wayside.
Equally as close, but you just saw Lace coming in there, just knocking off the projection. Was not going to allow it to tie up as you reach 2 minutes. Over applying a bit of pressure towards Xavier, but it's one thing Xavier likes to do. They like to play their back against the wall. As Saya over, there's a shot for Truly, but it gets denied. No dice for him. Xavier just trying to clear it out. Dimes once again off the crossbar, but it's not going to be denied once more. 140 left on the clock. ZAVE Esports applying the pressure. Into the corner they go. Truly with just a light touch to fake out. Oh, Truly missed. They both players from O-Word miss. Over to Truly once again. Truly rides the wall. Looks for a chance. pops it in towards the air, looks to get it. Oh, and Dimes is gonna get credit with the shot. A bad touch from O Word.
Yeah, and right there, ZAVE was just facing the net. He was ready for a flip into a back post shot, and just a great fake there will lead to a ZAVE score.
Yeah, just leading towards them. This is there, and oh my goodness, truly is just going to slam it in towards the net. 3-0. ZAVE Esports has it all worked out. They want to go to day 2, and I am sorry, and I hope they can if they could just hang on for the last 1 minute and 19 seconds. They do have the lead. They can't make any mistakes right now, as Saya has a chance. Pops it over there. Looks to get off the double tap off the crossbar, but can't find anything. Once again, oh, Saya with another chance, but it's going to miss. Now it's ZAVE Esports back on with the pressure as we're nearing just a minute. Shot by Lace gets denied by ZAVE. ZAVE with a chance, but he's going to get met. ZAVE Esports once again applying the pressure. Lakes with a chance. Sends it in towards the corner. Dimes with a chance. Over, can they do it? No, it's going to be in favor of O-Word, but here comes ZAVE Esports once again. And towards the corner, goes truly, flies through the air, looks for his teammate, but there it's just going to get cut off. Dimes once again, can he get a shot? No, he can't. It's Onyx again with the save.
Yeah, and now you see that O-Word are just getting drowned beneath the waves by the pressure of the ZAVE Esports offense, and they are running out of hope and running out of time. Their day 1 bracket run looks like it's gonna come to an end as Lakes carries this through the sky. Double tap blocked away, follow up truly off the ceiling and almost into the net, but that will be it for O-Word as ZAVE will move on to the lower bracket finals.
Yeah, and this is what ZAVE Esports.
Excuse me.
You're good. This is what ZAVE Esports wanted. This is what they needed. As I said before, they are the lower bracket kings. They've done it in our Rocket League tournament. As O-Word tried to get a last-second goal, tried at least to make the score look a bit presentable, but it was all for naught. ZAVE Esports is moving on, and this was a good showing for them. A great bounce-back game from them. I gotta admit, they played very well in these 2 games.
Yeah, definitely what you want to see if you are ZAVE is that bounce back. And now you will have another tough opponent ahead of you in Lightwork No Reaction, who did 2-0 Midnight to get here. And that is Rivers, CRF, and absolutely no one. Not any players I'm familiar with, but still gotta be at least decently formidable opponents to get here. But we expect ZAVE to just cruise right on through to day 2.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm expecting as well, is that they could just kind of go through this lower bracket, play a bit close games, bit of dominant games, and just hopefully cruise along with day 2. Hopefully get their revenge against the team that put them in this lower bracket. Now, like I said before, this team, but it's speaking of Team Silence has come back apparently, and they are tied up. Apparently, it's 2-2 in the winner semifinal. So, winner that will go on to day 2 in that double elimination. Like as I said before, ZAVE Esports has played in the lower bracket all the time. Rocket Rush week 1, week 2, week 3, and in week 4 they won the grand finals, according to that. And then in season 1 of our Rocket Rush, they will do it again in week 1. I think for ZAVE Esports, this might be a trend for them. Just playing a lower bracket and then just sweep through everybody.
Maybe a bit of a Moist Esports story, and the in lower bracket kings, or as it's called in Ohio, which is where I'm from, the Cardiac Kids. And it did just come through. Silence has reverse swept, who's going to carry the boats to stay in the upper bracket for day 2. But now we got to look ahead to Lightwork No Reaction. And again, the loser of this goes home. And there will be no day 2 broadcast if ZAVE do not win this. But, as always, the expectation is a ZAVE win.
Yeah, a lot of pressure coming on for ZAVE Esports. But ZAVE Esports got it. I believe they can. They're hopefully going ahead to day 2. Maybe they might just show off a little bit, kind of put themselves on notice and say, hey, watch out for us. We're no slackers. We have SSL teammates on our team. However, for Lightwork, no reaction. This is the first time that we're seeing them. They have taking a look at their roster just for a minute. Rivers, CRF, and absolutely no one. So ZAVE Esports, like again, they're gonna cruise right through this team, obviously.
Yeah, that's the expectation. Not really any credentials to Lightwork, no reaction's name, and obviously for ZAVE Esports, I mean, we mentioned that they like these low bracket runs, but definitely not the position you want to be in. A life or death to make a day two and then starting with one life. But Kenzo, who are you looking at for ZAVE to really step up in this next series?
I'm looking towards maybe Dimes a little bit. We've seen Dimes play sorry, not fact. He's played very good in the past times that we have seen him. So it's just more or less that I want to see him kind of at least kind of take charge a little bit. I know he's, I know it's the first time that we have seen Dimes play. We know about True, we know about Lakes, but not much we can know about Dimes for a little bit. But based on what we've seen, he has played very good in this series. Like I said, there's True, Lakes, and Dimes. This is probably Dimes' first big showing, but he has played very well in this tournament.
Yeah, he definitely has so far, and the entire team is going to need to step up here in order to get past this next opponent. But it's going to be interesting, as obviously, I mean, as we just wait for this to get checked in, I we can send it to a quick break as we wait for them to check in. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. We finally have our teams checked in for the match, and it's going to be an interesting one. It is ZAVE's final life. Again, for any newcomers just coming in, Kenzo, what are the expectations for this?
The expectations for ZAVE Esports is that they're going to have to dominate and move on to day 2. It's very expected for them to go on to day 2 and get their run back in possibly the upper bracket or lower bracket, depending on how the seeding works out for them. But my expectation for them is they're probably going to sweep this team. You know, not to put any shame on Lightwork, no reaction, but they have their work cut out for them. As we have 6 on the field, 5 on the clock, and we are underway. And just like that, ZAVE Esports already with a demo looking to get a shot off. Dimes just a bit off target with his attempt. Limes, no, excuse me, not Limes, Lakes tries to go back, tries to circle right downfield. Here comes absolutely no one. Is going to get absolutely denied, pun very much intended. As we see Lakes rise the wall, pipes through the air, looks to probably set something up over to his teammate, but there is a misfire attempt from Lightwork. Lightwork obviously trying to quell the favorite, trying to quell the storm and shatter ZAVE Esports' hopes and dreams. Truly pops into the air, looks for an attempt on shot, looks for a teammate, but there is Rivers going to cut him off as we see the ball head towards ZAVE's side of the field. Why? Oh no, excuse me, that appears to be Lakes. Tries to set something up. Not anything going. So far, just a bit of a stalemate between these two teams. There's a shot from Truly! And just like that, the stalemate is broken. ZAVE Esports 1-0 with 4:03 left to go.
Just a great job recognizing the space. Absolutely no one. What he should have done was he should have played some shadow defense there, but he didn't. He turned for the ball, and once he jumps, then it truly knows it's time to flick it, and a great flick will put them up 1-0. But now this one going to be cleared back down, and truly going to be able to corral this, and Lake's going to fight for the ball with CRF, who comes away the winner, but Dimes just going to shuffle this along the back wall. And now we see as ZAVE just continue to apply this offensive pressure they've had all day that makes it so hard for teams to get to move forward against them. And CRF gonna have to chase this one back in an awkward position, and Truly gets the ball, throws it off the ceiling to Dimes, and Dimes doesn't miss those.
He surely doesn't. Look at the teamwork on display off the ceiling, and Dimes just right there ready with the play. Obviously, that is a tough shot to defend if you're Lightwork. You obviously can't always expect those, but it is just tough to stop it as we now see CRF trying to rotate back downfield, and Lakes and every member of ZAVE Esports is eating right now. It's a 3-0 game.
Yeah, and that's just a great passing play off of the kickoff, and I will always say this. Teams are at their weakest off of the kickoff because nobody is set up, and you saw it there. Nobody was ready for the pinch out to the middle, and nobody's ready for Truly to air dribble this through, but it's gonna go off the crossbar as the bump came out, and CRF with the reset trying to get it downfield, not gonna be able to as Lakes throws a high for Dimes, and Dimes just gonna put one off the back wall, and where's the follow-up? Not gonna come through from Truly, but Lakes is gonna be able to hunt that one down. Pass back to Lakes. Lakes double tap blocked away by no one. That could have been a beauty, but Rivers and co. will look to keep this one at only 3-0.
Yeah, that was just so tough for them to kind of make a play. You saw Truly just trying to get that double tap, but it was not going in. Maybe he had just a bit of a help coming from his team. I think that shot would have went in, as we could just see another attempt from ZAVE Esports. Shot all the way. No, this gets denied by CRF. Into the corner they go. Rivers sends it downfield. Crack downfield rushing is ZAVE Esports. Just trying to put something, but they have the lead. They can just chillax just for a little bit. CRF looks to kind of redirect it himself, but it's not going to be denied if they can. 3:2:05 left to go on the clock as Dimes pops it in towards the air, looks for the empty net. It's going to be absolutely denied by CRF once more. 2 minutes left to go on the clock as Dimes once again just gets met with that 50. Absolutely no one tries to rush around the field, but it's not going to pay out in his favor. Truly with a chance, pops it downfield. It's going to get met by Rivers. Into the corner they go. Chance for play. Empty net. Missed completely by CRF. ZAVE Esports once again applying no pressure. They have to get it on their side of the field. They're looking to make a play. Rivers just misses. Chance for ZAVE Esports once again. CRF looks to make a play. Lakes right downfield. Here he goes. Rushing right down. Can he make a play? Yes, he can. Off the touch. Over the play. There is Dimes. And it's 4-0 with 1:18 left to go.
A great job by Dimes to go harass the back line. And then the ball just bounces favorably for him. And ZAVE are up 4-0. And that should be the nail in the coffin for game 1 for Lightwork No Reaction.
Yeah, it's spelling doom for them. I don't think they have what it's... I mean, here's the thing. They have a chance, but you could just see ZAVE Esports is just not allowing it as we're reaching 1 minute left to go in game 1. Truly pops it into the air. He's going to fly through the air. A little off target. Maybe try to set something up for his teammate, but the ball was a bit too far out. The miscommunication. 50 seconds left. Rivers with possession. Tries to set something up. Heads it towards their side of the field, but it's going to be met by ZAVE. ZAVE tries to at least quell the storm. 40 seconds left. Just trying to burn out the clock if they can. Lakes circling around. Looks to get some boost. Over to Trilly. He sends it towards Lakes. Lakes rise the back wall. Looks for something, but can't find anything. 30 seconds left. Once again, ZAVE Esports wins the pinch. Trying to at least just put one more on the go-home game 1. Absolutely no one. Ball heading towards him. Truly there. Is it Lakes? No. There goes Dimes. And Dimes with his hat trick. The 3rd goal of the game with 16 seconds left. It is over for Lightwork in game 1.
Yeah, just a beautiful game 1, picking up right where they left off for ZAVE Esports, and they have played so strongly here in this game 1. Now, Kenzo, if you had anything to tell Lightwork No Reaction, if you're their coach, how do you even get them to stop this ZAVE offense as we see them about to put away a 6th?
I would say, you know, you gotta stop double committing. You obviously, Lightwork, very double committing. They have 2 players towards many shots, you know, and with ZAVE, when you're playing ZAVE like that, you can't do that. You obviously are just going to have, like, obviously a man back down there that you're not expecting. And that's the problem with Lightwork. Is like I said, they're having just a bit double commits as ZAVE Esports takes game 1. Obviously, ZAVE Esports just feeling no pressure whatsoever in that game 1.
I mean, they really weren't challenged whatsoever. They really weren't challenged whatsoever in that game 1, and I mean, that's just what happens when you face a team like ZAVE. You really have to do something to kind of mix it up, if you're gonna beat them.
Yeah, if you're gonna beat ZAVE Esports, I think you're going to have to at least, you know, at least try to put a bit more of the pressure on your side, because that's what, you know, ZAVE Esports likes to play. They like to play a bit of the pressure game, so if you match what they can, you might have a shot. However, ZAVE Esports does bring a lot of pressure. Dimes with a shot, tries to, not a shot, but a touch, sends it over and to Lakes. Lakes can't reach the net, just a bit misfire on his part. They still have a bit of the pressure as Lakes tries to, is going to rotate back downfield. Dimes, at least with an empty net. Oh, gets saved by Truly. What a save from ZAVE Esports.
What a save indeed, and Lakes looking to get this one through, harassing the back line, as in Lakes will turn on a dime, and speaking of dimes, he's going to have to take this one over. But CRF, not a great challenge out of him, as he kind of just puts it back towards his net. And now we finally see the ZAVE Esports side of the field for the first time in a while, but it's just a short vacation as we are back into the Lightwork No Reaction end.
Yeah, and just like that, we're back to the ZAVE Esports side of the field. Very much back and forth. Rivers pops it, tries to send it over to his teammate, but you can just see Truly going to deny it. Truly passes over to Lakes. Lakes with just a shot, but it gets denied by Rivers. No one tries to send it over to his teammate, but there is ZAVE Esports looking to cut him off as that ball heads back towards Lightwork side of the field. Lakes with a touch, tries to pass it over to his teammate, but it gets denied by no one. So far, just a bit of a stalemate. I'm thinking maybe Lightwork maybe saw what was happening in Game 1 and they're matching what ZAVE Esports is doing. Lakes with a chance. Shot on the way. Gets denied by CRF. So far, ZAVE Esports hasn't had a shot going. It seems to be met by any chance by Lightwork.
Yeah, and now Lakes throws his high to his team and throws it back to him, but absolutely no one has the save. And it's been a lot better defense from Lightwork, no reaction, but we are still not really seeing offense. Here's an opportunity, but Lakes all over it yet again, and that's just how good he is. Call him the Great Lakes, as Dimes bringing this one down, gonna pop it up, and that one was almost the first. Lakes back wall, trying to get a hold of it. Rivers gonna be able to block it out, and now absolutely no one gonna throw it down the field. And truly, his teammates taken off the pitch, or sorry, absolutely no one was taken off the pitch. And that will reset the offense yet again. And ZAVE can start yet again, going through the sky, reset, blocked away by CRF. Follow up, truly shot off target.
Yeah, just denying once again. No offense so far. We seen the offense, but no shots have fallen. 5 shots for Lakes. Not a single one has landed in their favor. As we can just see, absolutely no one tries to make a play. Oh, but he's going to miss an opportunity. Truly, with the save, as CRF went for a shot. Absolutely no one tries to rotate back. Truly looking to make a play. He gets denied. No one flies through the air. It's going to continue to ride the wall. Dimes is going to cut him off. Nearing 145. If ZAVE does not score, it does spell overtime for them. 140 left on the clock. Lakes rotates back, looks to get some boost, tries to meet up with his team. Dimes just gonna cut it off, see what he can do. There's the pinch, but it's not gonna work out in their favor. Into the corner, Dimes gets the demo. Rivers tries to make a play, he's gonna get cut off by Truly. Sends it over to CRF. Truly's gonna cut it off. Into the corner they go. Dimes just tries to set something up. Clock ticking away. ZAVE Esports has to find the net in the next minute and 10 seconds if they can. Lakes pops it, enters the air, looks for the reset, pops over 2 members, but he can't find the net once again. Dimes going to cut it off. Into the player there go. No one tries to set something up. Rivers tries to set something up himself. Minute remaining on the clock. Time is slowly not on their side. Lakes with a touch, tries to pump up to his teammate, but is going to get cut off. Here's Truly in towards the corner, tries to set something up. No one is going to ride the wave he can. Rivers tries to bump a player, but he accidentally bumps his own teammate by mistake. Truly sends it in towards the corner, nearing 30 seconds left. ZAVE Esports trying to set something up. Can they do it? Yes, they will. 30 seconds left on the clock. It's spelling do or die if they can't find the net, Shadow.
Yeah, and with 20 seconds left, Truly just going to throw this high. It's going to be shut down by Lightwork. No reaction. They've gotten the most offense we've seen all series, but they still haven't been able to cash in. Rivers high up. Follow-up not there from a teammate until absolutely no one gets this through. But the Great Lakes will be there to shut it down. And now, going to the other end of the pitch, Lakes tries to keep this up. It bounces favorably. Still not down. Truly, netward blocked away. CRF puts it high. Truly throwing it back into the offensive half, and it will fall to the ground. And ladies and gentlemen, we have overtime. And Lightwork, no reactions. Final life. Truly takes to the skies, reset up by a teammate. CRF holding to make the save, and he does, but they're still starting to swarm. Lakes taking to the sky, passing it over to Truly, who accidentally misflips, and that might have killed the offense unless Dimes can keep it in. Lakes will actually keep it in. Dimes puts it high for a teammate. Lakes follow him. Good. Welcome to day 2.
I called it. I said that if they did, I'm always a fan of overtimes, but you can just see Lakes just kind of pops it in towards the net, and he got it there. ZAVE Esports, you are headed to day 2. Congratulations.
Congratulations indeed. It was a bit of a bumpy ride, but ladies and gentlemen, that's how a roller coaster goes. And you know that ZAVE love their roller coasters and their lower bracket runs. A bit of a bump and a misstep against who's going to carry the boats, but we still get to day 2 anyways, and I will take a look at what day 2 is currently looking like. for this team, as I believe I can get it to be pulled up, but is it not going to be nice to me? No, it's not going to be nice to me. We'll wait for the players to put it in to see the games tomorrow. But Kenzo, what did ZAVE have to do to really bounce back after a rough loss like that, and they like the one they had? Excuse me.
I think it was more about getting back to what they knew best: communication, putting a lot of pressure, and just catching teams by mistake. You saw in those last few moments, light work kind of had them by the throat, but Xavier Force does what they always do best: they clutch it up in the moments. You saw True, Lakes, and Dimes pretty much played very well. I said that he needed to step up in this game, and he certainly did.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there, and I believe that what it would look like is for tomorrow, we'd be facing a team called Buds, which is Kaku Prodigy, Buddy, and 15-year-old Prodigy. But we're going to wait over the next few minutes to see. And I think, too, the big kind of test for any new team coming together is, do you have that mental leader in the comms? You can have an in-game leader, but the question is, what is the mental like? As someone who competes myself in collegiate Rocket League, I know how important it is to be able to say, guys, we got to take a deep breath, calm down, let's run through some strategies or something like that. It's always really important to have a leader who can help the team bounce back and a good team mental all around. And I think we saw that really on display for ZAVE Esports here today, which is obviously what you love to see when you have a new team coming together. And I do have official confirmation tomorrow at 7 p.m. It'll be ZAVE versus Buds. Again, Buds is Kaku Prodigy, 13-year-old, Buddy CB, and 15-year-old Prodigy. But obviously, so far so good from ZAVE. Maybe this is what they're comfortable with, as they will have to fight through the lower bracket tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Yeah, and like we said, ZAVE Esports are the lower bracket kings. They've done it before. They can do it again. They have all the momentum, and a lot of fans back their side. Congratulations once again to ZAVE Esports for making it to day 2. You are one step closer from winning it all.
Yeah, and I think now that we do have an interview coming up, and so actually we just got word we're gonna do the interview tomorrow. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to everyone for joining us here at Nameless HQ and ZAVE Esports, and thank you for watching tonight. We will see you all tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern for ZAVE Esports versus Buds.
You